what we were looking at was not actually where the fatality was, but we do have an area that does need, and they determine this, if there's actually a path beaten by walking down an area where there isn't a sidewalk. And those of you that ever go to Walmart and go into that most easterly drive, they can actually walk out in front of the waterbed store and down that whole area, but when they get down to that guardrail, it's really unsafe because they got about this much room between the curb and that guardrail. And we talked a little bit about how that could be handled, and it's going to take something because it's a big deep drop off, and that's why they put that so close to the curb, because it was, when you have to put the poles in 40 foot down, it's going to take quite a bit of filling in, and with the DNR as their companion, they probably would have to do all kinds of things to make DNR happy for putting in more. I don't know if it's possible to put it like a bridge that last few feet, but that's very obvious that that's used for pedestrian usage, and you don't see any paths that go beyond that, because they go into that very south end of Walmart, and from there they can go kind of out of harm's way across the parking lots if they want to just go to Walmart, or if they want to go down to that little strip mall they can walk within the parking lots, and they're in a lot safer situation than out on the road. And I guess I'm just asking if you're interested in trying to get into this.
I have a question.
Okay.
The Complete Streets project, is that the grant?
No.
Is it called Complete
No.
Streets?
This is they handed those to me. That's about what they had, and we had quite a bit of discussion. There wasn't a lot of paperwork, but there are groups that want to see every road assisted by a pedestrian path and a bike path, which of course would mean we'd never have any money to build any roads. It would be very difficult to do that sort of thing. There are areas where that could probably be done pretty well, but they were quite, when the high school went out there, in that interchange, as some of you probably would remember, had a high-speed ramp off it. It took us 8 years working with the city, the college, the township, and the county planning commission, and we worked and worked and worked. We had probably 100 meetings. We finally got them to pull out that high-speed ramp. And they actually did shut it out, make it come to a stop sign. That improved it somewhat. But they look at these interchanges as being, out away from where everything else is. And so when the school located out there, we put a bike path in, and they helped us with that too. We had some good cooperation in getting, but when you're doing bicycle and walking, you have to add 10 feet more to the roadway itself. And so then the curb is up further along, so if somebody does bounce off the sidewalk or step out or something, there's that lane next to the sidewalk has a lot of space. And so chances are pretty good that there wouldn't be a traffic. Their position is that there shouldn't be pedestrians out there in that interstate.
But obviously there is.
Right, so we still need.
Well, obviously, we need to do something.
Well, I don't think they'll help us with that, because they don't want to see pedestrian roads out there at the interchange.
But short of a fence farther back, they're there. I mean, it's either a cow path or people.
No, this is a cow path, but it doesn't go, that totally ends at
I know
the
that,
gas
but I
station.
mean, even getting into Walmart, if we got that far, that's something. It may not be the whole answer, and we certainly need to look at the entire scope before we do anything, but
Again, my question, where do we get
I
the
don't
guidance
know.
we
I don't
need
know.
to?
I can't.
Well, we're gonna have to get an engineer if we want to put a request in for that funding for.
I don't think we're to the point that we can talk intelligent about funding. We need to find out what options we have
And that'll take an engineer.
okay?
And I don't know
Or
what
Ferris
it would
helping
cost.
us, or the city helping us, or something.
Well, the city's got a sidewalk that goes down to the Venlo Drive.
Right.
And beyond that, the only place you see foot traffic where it's worn right down is down to that first drive into all of the retail area.
I would agree.
And so,
There's no question it's that close.
You can't allow it to go on. Because I'm going to tell you what. When it's winter out there and that little old lady's riding that Amigo to the store and she's riding in the road because that's her only way of getting to the store to go shopping. And she gets hit and killed by a snowplow truck. What's the community going to say then? You know, you got to step up. It's time. When someone calls up to you and sits there and says, I got 2 months left in office, not my problem, I've got an issue with that. Oh yeah, that's exactly what you said to me, lady.
no, that is
It
not.
is.
Yes, it is. My jaw hit the ground, lady. I'm not very happy with you.
I don't want to see this happen to anybody's child. This was horrible. It was a horrible experience. I would never want another family, another mother, another father to go through what we just went through.
We are going to move on this. It's just a matter of getting our ducks in a row.
But we're not gonna be, with the funds we have, we can't do a lot in a hurry.